There is a brand new ecosystem that is well funded with lots of capital, and many new projects are starting to build on it. So now is the opportunity to go into this ecosystem and find the next 100x so that you can be on the right side of the new projects that come out that will astronomically blow up your portfolio. So you're probably wondering which blockchain this is, and it is actually SUI. SUI is a first of its kind layer 1 blockchain and smart contracting platform designed to make digital asset ownership fast, private, secure, and accessible. Today I'm going to show you all the projects currently trading on SUI, which I think personally have potential to grow, and also one at the end that you should definitely be keeping your eyes on. All right, so let's look at SUI and what it's been doing, and obviously look at how it's appreciating in price. It launched obviously in the middle of the bear market in May 2023 while we were still coming down, especially for the alts, right? Bitcoin had already bottomed out by then, but we're seeing that alts kept moving down until most recently around November, October of this year. So it's looking actually quite bullish on the chart. SUI is obviously new as a project, so there are things that we need to consider, but I'm just going to show you on level wise where we can be looking at, because it's really easy to see that SUI around 91 cents is a very, very strong opportunity. And then it really only would go somewhere around $1.50 before we would see it go into certain types of price discovery. Price discovery is great, means the price, we don't know how much higher it will go, and then we can start doing our fib extension. There's a difference between a normal Fibonacci and a fib extension. The normal Fibonacci shows you it going down. The fib extension shows you it going up. Someone was commenting on one of my last videos, so I wanted to kind of make that straightforward so you know that there's two different types of Fibonaccis. So let's go into some SUI projects. We're going to go over the basic ecosystem things that you all look for in every single type of blockchain. First project we're going to talk about is SUI PAD. Now, why SUI PAD? Launchpads are literally the biggest gainers for me personally and most of my friends last cycle. Things like Paid, BSC PAD, Defi, and pools, just to name a few, have done absolutely astronomical gains, mainly because you guys want to get access to stuff that it's very hard to get into, and ideal launchpads give you that opportunity. Not only is it an opportunity for the launchpad itself, but the token price being so low could potentially give you 100x gains comparing to other projects from last cycle. Next up is CETUS. Why CETUS? Because we need a way to trade on a DEX. It's as simple as that. We need DEXs so that we can trade the tokens that are going to be on SUI without throwing them on centralized exchanges and having the FTX type of centralized horrible situation come up. So what am I looking at with CETUS? It's a very simple to use DEX where I can pick the coins that I want to trade just like anywhere else and be able to trade them against other coins. Now, it's not only on SUI, which is pretty cool, it also is on Aptos, so you can trade on more than one chain. And they also have pools and a launchpad. So as we look at CETUS on the chart, it's very bullish. It's almost breaking all-time high levels. So this is one that I'm definitely keeping my eyes on. Our next project on the list is SuiSwap. Now, just the name in itself is why I looked at this one originally. Another DEX, yes, I've already talked about one, but there's always good to look at more than one because we don't know which one is going to be the Uniswap or the Unizen. So we're looking for the SuiSwap, the Suizen, etc. And so that's why we're going to look at more than one DEX. And it's also because it's the first thing that an ecosystem needs and will jumpstart the rest of the SUI ecosystem. Next thing up is the chart for SuiSwap, and what you can see is it's in price discovery. So if we go right down here and right up here and we bring it back down, we want to see where will this potentially go next, and it could definitely go much higher before the end of this cycle, and it's just getting started, just like their ecosystem. Next up to the ecosystem that we need to find is where do we make yields? Where can we stake our SUI and earn more SUI, and which platform has the whole entire ecosystem to do so? Typus Finance is the one that I found that has the greatest opportunity where you can put your capital into a vault and earn on your yields. So looking at Typus Finance, you can really just go in here, you can do puts and calls, which basically are options, and you can see that there are different types of APY and different types of risk levels that you can use. This is a great platform so that you can earn more on your investment, but again, if it's an aggressive strategy, be very careful. One huge disclaimer and area of caution is that this is a newer platform, and new platforms do have risks. We've all seen what happened with Harvest Finance and other platforms in the past. We've also seen what happened on centralized platforms in the past. I won't name them, but you guys already know them. Before you put your capital in, think do the Coach K thinking thing, and make sure that you do not overexpose yourself into any of these types of platforms. And if you're someone who does not like risk like myself, make sure that you put a very, very small amount if you go in at all. Next up is Bluemove, and this is actually the leading marketplace for NFTs on SUI. Now, it's really good to always get into the leading NFT marketplaces as you see NFTs starting to come back, and we're looking deeper and deeper into the SUI ecosystem because A, it's really, really cheap, so you're not gonna pay exorbitant fees like you've known on Ethereum. And if you're someone who loves NFTs, you can mint, inscribe, and even launch your own NFT collection, as well as even raise capital for it. Bluemove also, when we look at the chart, has a huge opportunity. Now, the other charts we're looking at are in price discovery. When we look at Bluemove, it's very close to the bottom still, which means that we have a mass opportunity. From the bottom, it is only up about 200%. And comparing to most of the other coins in the market, this is a huge opportunity because it is actually 10x to get just to its all-time high, and it still has never had a full cycle yet. So next up, before we go into our last non-launch project, is a project that actually isn't launched yet, but I've actually been dabbling with because of their airdrop. And you'll be able to find that airdrop just down here below, so you can click on the right link and you don't get scammed, which is most important. So how do we use this and what is it? Scallop Network is basically a lending and borrowing DeFi ecosystem tool. So very simply, you can bridge on this, you can lend on it, you can borrow on it. So what would you have to do? Basically, as simple as all the other DeFi lending platforms, you can deposit SUI by just clicking on the supply button, connecting your SUI wallet, and then putting in how much you want to on the actual platform. And then what that will do is it will let you earn a yield. The supply APY is showing 17%, so a pretty good yield before it even launches the token, right? And then you can also go to the pools, you can look at where you want to borrow, where you want to lend, and so it's a really good tool for you to kind of start dabbling in the ecosystem with a little bit of SUI because it's quite cheap. So they also have a bridge, which you can go, there's 3 of them that they use, so you can bridge assets from one chain over to SUI so you can start using it today, or you can go on a centralized exchange and do it. One other thing I want to show you is they do have an airdrop, and airdrops are basically free money for doing engagements, things like Zeely campaigns, and actually doing exactly what I showed you right here by borrowing, depositing, withdrawing, and actually using the network. And that's how most of the airdrops work. So a great platform. They didn't raise a ton of money, which is also really good. There's a large opportunity for this to grow massively when it launches, and SUI's ecosystem, as we're starting to see, is taking off. And the next one up is Chirp Wireless. So the gem that has not launched yet. I'm very involved with this project, so full disclaimer, I have been helping them, connecting them with the right players in the space, invested in them, etc., and I advise them. Now, what I want to tell you here is really important is that if you're into the DPIN narrative, they have already partnered up with Peak. I've connected them with World Mobile. They're working in a way that's amazing. And I'm going to show you some stuff right now on their website that should make you very bullish about what they're doing. And obviously they're using SUI because SUI is cheap and fast. And when we're talking about mobile networks, what did they need? Cheap and fast. So one platform, one bill, one partner. They do everything and everything because it's not only DPIN for mobile networks and connectivity, but they also have IoT devices that are connected into there, and they also own IoT devices that they can send you. And as you can see in the list right here below, there are tons and tons of different types of devices that connect into their network right now, today. So how they're going to do this is not just with the LoRaWAN network, they also have a 2.4 megahertz network connectivity, which means that they can do 5G, 4G, and actually their technology, their miners, which I've actually shown you in other videos, they will actually be upgradable. So when they're 6 or 7G in the future, you will actually have potential to take out an old chip, put a new chip in, and it upgrades itself. As you can see on the map right here in this picture, some places have 5G and 4G, but many places are still stuck in the 2 and 3G networks, which are so slow that your iPhone basically wouldn't almost work in these networks in these areas because it was just too slow. So there's a massive need for this technology in South America, there's a massive need for this technology in Africa, and there are a lot of people that live in those areas of the world. So there's a few use cases they have. They have asset tracking and logistics, which is massive, similar to what VeChain has. They have energy consumption monitoring, so you can see how much are you wasting and how much are you using. They have gas monitoring for your actual gas pumps, and they also have building maintenance and security. So all of these things are encompassed in one network, not just phone and not just internet. So that's why I'm talking about Chirp today, and I hope you guys will take a look at it because it's not out yet and there's still a lot of opportunity to get in. So here's one project that I saw on many lists already, and it's called Releap. Now, I don't have any hate against anything or any project, but I've invested in several social graph, social fi type projects, and almost every single one I've ever invested into, I either just made my money back or lost money. And the reason is that everyone uses Twitter, everyone uses Snapchat, Instagram, etc. And until we have something that makes them a lot significantly better, I don't see why I would invest in another until we start seeing that narrative take off. And unfortunately, it has not yet, and I'm not willing to take that type of risk. So I just wanted to show you guys a project that I personally am not really down to invest into and why, so you can decide these factors while you're making your own decisions so that you know better what to invest for yourself. All right, continuing on, I want to give you some alpha about SUI. And the first thing about alpha is unlocks. I always talk about them. Let's show you on Drops tab the vesting for SUI right now. And what you'll see is that there's still value locked in the staking, which is fine. Staking is normal, that's good. You know, gotta have some reason to stake, right? And then Miston Labs has a little bit. Not much gets unlocked from them. It's very slow, so we're not worried about that. But what we are worried about is the early contributors, because there's unlocks in 120 days of 109 million token. So how much tokens are actually currently circulating is 622 million. So 109 is about 15 or so % of the supply being unlocked, which is going to come into the market. Now, if we're in a bull market, that actually may not cause a huge sell-off, but it's something to always mark your calendars down for, that in 100 days of today, there could be a sell-off in 4 months from now. So for the next 4 months, as long as you don't have to worry about it, just basically mark your calendars so that you get a reminder for yourself. Now, also the public sale every 30 days also has some supply coming out, but their supply is much less at only 34,610,000 tokens coming out, about 0.35% of supply, which is okay. It's only $30 million on a coin that's got about 600 million market cap. So again, that could be a sell the news event because public sailors generally do sell their tokens. Keep your eyes on that so you can learn and win. So that wraps it up for this list. If there's any SUI projects that you guys want me to look in, let me know and we'll see you soon.